Coming up on WMPD News at noon, a former Twin Cities Boys and Girls Club volunteer is facing 7 years behind bars. We'll tell you why. Also, a Central Illinois man gets an out-of-this-world opportunity with NASA. He shares his once-in-a-lifetime experience with us. And riding for a cause. We'll tell you how one local group is coming together to help children and families in need. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Shelby Roberts. A Peoria woman is in the hospital after being shot in the back last night. Around 6:15 p.m., police were called to West Hamilton after reports of that shooting. At this time, police tell us they have no suspect information and will continue to keep you updated as we learn more details. Also, in a crime alert, Bloomington police are asking for your help to solve an armed robbery from last night. Police were called to Casey's General Store on Gill Street near Airport Road just before 11 p.m. According to officers, 2 men ran from the scene with an undetermined amount of cash. Police say at least one of those men was armed. No one was hurt, thankfully. Investigators are asking anyone with information to call the Bloomington Police Department or the McLean County Crime Stoppers office. A former volunteer with the Boys and Girls Club in the Twin Cities has been found guilty of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. The charge comes after 24-year-old Julius Scott was convicted of having sex with a girl younger than 17. Scott was found not guilty of a charge alleging he used force to have sex with the teenager back in November of 2017. He volunteered for the Boys and Girls Club as community service work for a domestic battery conviction. Scott faces up to 7 years behind bars. A man is fighting for his life after a head-on crash in Peoria County earlier this week. It happened Monday on Route 24 near Banner Marsh Wildlife Preserve Road. Illinois State Police say one of the drivers, Brian Jackson from Canton, was life-flighted to the hospital. The other driver, Jacob Leak, was also taken to the hospital. He is expected to recover. River levels continue to recede in Peoria, but some issues still linger. Several streets at the riverfront remain covered, but Peoria Public Works crew are working to reopen them. People are being asked to avoid the riverfront promenade, and crews will continue to clear streets and sandbags if river levels fall further. Some good news for drivers in Henry. The Route 18 bridge is now back open. The bridge closed last week after water levels rose to more than 28 feet. The Marshall County Sheriff says drivers are now allowed back to their normal routes. And for a list of closed and reopened roads, you can head on over to our website. That's ciproud.com. From our Twin Cities newsroom, a recent study shows there may be high levels of fluorine compounds in Central Illinois drinking water. Bill Walker of the Environmental Working Group wrote an article stating that 610 communities and 43 different states have reported high levels of PFAS. Those are very toxic fluorinated chemicals. According to that data, Bloomington is among the communities seeing prevalent levels in its drinking water. Those chemical compounds are dangerous and can pose serious health issues like cancer. But according to Bloomington Public Works Director Jim Kark, the city says there's nothing to worry about.
In Illinois, that is something that we have done. In Bloomington, we have tested for that. It's really, thankfully, not a concern because of where our water surfaces are at. They're not located in some of those areas that are downstream from more of the manufacturing, industrial type of uses where the PFAS chemicals are used.
But Kark says there are still things you can do to keep safe from PFAS. He recommends cleaning your home's water filters on an annual basis. Well, take a look at this. A local man is back in Central Illinois after participating in a recent NASA launch. Chad Colby from Goodfield was selected to join NASA's social media team at the Kennedy Space Center last week. The opportunity was part of NASA's resupply mission to the International Space Station. As part of the experience, Colby got to see an experimental indoor vegetation lab. NASA's working to find a way to grow wayless vegetables so food can eventually be grown in space.
Really got to see a little bit of the behind the scenes of what happens at NASA, and they also opened that up so we could ask a lot of questions to people at NASA, and they were very open book to share with us.
So cool. Now people can apply for that social media program online, and participants get the same access to events as media outlets. Well, this week, Illinois state troopers are using a new approach to educate the public about driving safety. Troopers in the Quad Cities area dressed as construction workers to raise awareness for Work Zone Safety Week. So far this year, 19 trooper cars have been hit. All but 2 were hit while pulled over on the side of the road. Troopers hope that this reminds drivers to slow down and pay attention, especially in construction zones.
It's not about writing the tickets. It's not about pulling people over. It's about keeping people safe. There are people out here that are still on their phones. They're speeding through the construction zone.
And a speeding ticket in a construction zone for the first offense is $375. Ouch. And the second one is $1,000 and a 90-day suspension of your license. Over from our Capitol newsroom, the NAACP is speaking out against recreational marijuana use. Monday, Governor J.B. Pritzker announced his agreement with lawmakers to legalize recreational use within the state. He said it would allow adults 21 and older to buy cannabis from licensed dispensary, adding that some of the money raised would provide funding for minority communities and minority-owned businesses. But despite those claims, the NAACP remains strongly opposed.
You're creating an addiction. You're adding to an addiction that's already out there, that's illegal. You're making it legal, and more people are going to suffer. Again, rich people are getting more rich off the back of poor people. The other thing is that it is unfortunate that the state of Illinois decides to pay its bills off the back of people who can't pay their bills every day.
Teresa Haley also warned students on financial aid not to use marijuana because she says they could be jeopardizing their standing in school. Local sheriffs and police chiefs are also raising some concerns about the recreational use proposal. Officials cite safety risks and health risks associated with marijuana. They say cannabis-related car crashes increase up to 174% in states that have legalized recreational marijuana. A group of small business owners protest a plan to raise video gaming taxes. Governor Pritzker's budget proposal calls for raising the taxes on gaming machines from 30% up to 50%. During a State House press conference, the group called Bet on Main Street said it's not fair to raise taxes on their gaming terminals and then let out-of-state owned casinos or racetracks off the hook.
We already pay our fair share. It's higher than anyone else. And it's, most importantly, will have an incredibly harmful effect to the state.
The group of small businesses said their bottom line already went up under the minimum wage increase and said several of them could not afford higher taxes on those video gaming terminals. Coming up, hundreds of Central Illinois students are being recognized for their educational success.